A little green flag action already here tonight. Doing some heat racing action, getting these drivers lined up to find out where they're starting the big show here tonight for the KARTPLEX iRacing Series. A little bit of fun run here. Felix Legacy Road Course here. Showtime Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. Joined by me is my brother from another mother, Kyle Young, Dr. Race Chaser himself. Kyle, first time in the booth for this KARTPLEX group. I know you've been following along here on Vidane TV. You excited?
I am, yeah. It's what a way to get back into the sim racing broadcasting with a doubleheader in one night, right? We've seen this road course be used in the past on Vidane TV, so it'll be kind of cool to see what these guys here with the KARTPLEX League can provide us. And we've already gotten this first heat race rocking and rolling. Looks like it is a 12-minute timed heat race, and just seen one of the competitors kind of spin out, battling for the race lead on the opening lap here. That seems to have been fairly eventful so far. Had a pretty big field, 20 cars out here in this opening heat race to figure out what we're going to do here for our feature.
Yeah, getting things all sorted out with the iRacing simulator, so we'll check kind of through the field here, see how everybody's doing. Kind of a little green flag practice action here to kind of figure out how the car's going to handle. These Miatas are pretty fun to kind of rip around, very similar to the go-kart tracks we see, or the go-karts at KARTPLEX. A little bit different, a little bit bigger, a little bit different as far as the weight distribution, but still a lot of fun driving these things around the road courses. And we're joined by the owner of the KARTPLEX place over at the Area 27. Craig, great to join you. Great to have you join us again here this week. We had some technical difficulties with the stream last week. Got it all sorted out. Great to have you back here once again. We've got our champions all lined up. We'll talk about that momentarily, but pretty excited about tonight's race.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, and you guys are a lot smarter than me about all this technical stuff, and I'm glad to hear you got whatever was wrong sorted out. It all looked good to me, and hope to enjoy another exciting round of racing.
And you can see this first heat race, 12 minutes on the clock, a little bit different. There's a little bit of an on-track incident as they cross the stripe. Resets, 5 resets in the main feature here tonight. So these drivers out here having ourselves a little bit of fun. And last week we kind of went over what the prize packages were for these drivers coming into it. And we know that the field is kind of split, right, between the go-karting crowd and the sim racing crowd. And the main goal here is to kind of mesh those crowds together. Get some of the sim racers out to the track for the first time and really experience that adrenaline rush of being behind the wheel of a machine. And it's one of the coolest feelings in the world here. First, second, and third place of the sim racing group, the winner championship, and we'll get into who got what here momentarily. But the KARTPLEX session package, 2 sessions with the R25s, 2 sessions with the R Maxes. Both of those come with a coach included, which is huge, really telling you what you did right, what you did wrong, and it's up to that coach's discretion. Might be able to throw you into the 100cc go-karts, potentially, depending on how you handle the R25s, the R Max, and then, as always, the swag, right, the t-shirts, the hats, the gloves, all that good stuff to let your friends and family know what you did over the past weekend, jumping in the go-kart for the first time. Second and third place, getting arrive and drive day packages, a handful of those, as well as the swag, the t-shirts, the hats, the gloves, and all that cool stuff. So kind of a little nod to some of the sim racers putting on a heck of a show here for us in the past couple of weeks, past couple of months, really, with this KARTPLEX iRacing Winter Series. And through those sim racing groups, Alex Ho coming with the championship, Chung Ting Pang, which is Jackie, as we've seen on track, 4th in this heat race right now, coming in 2nd, and Kurt F10, Curtis Fung, coming home with P3. So 3 sim racers potentially getting the opportunity to jump in those go-karts for the very first time and really have that opportunity to feel that rush. That's pretty cool to get these drivers out on track.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, our experience so far is that these guys that are really good in the sim, the skills really translate, and it doesn't take them very long to get up to speed on the asphalt. There's a little bit of physicality to it, and some neck muscles that need to be built up that sometimes takes a bit of time. But from what we can tell, these guys that spend a lot of time on these sims turn into real good drivers, and their skills will translate right onto the racetrack.
And that's one of the things we like to really kind of focus here on Verdane TV is the connection between the real racing and the sim racing. So it's a really cool thing that KARTPLEX has really been able to do to jump on board with this KARTPLEX Winter League and kind of get these drivers that opportunity. Because I know I've done the sim racing thing for a long time. I've had the opportunity to jump in a street stock a handful of times at Stafford Speedway, and it's very similar. A lot of things similar between the real racing and the sim racing world, but there are a lot of differences, and it's really, really cool to be able to kind of experience that butt-in-seat feel.
Yeah, for sure. Adrenaline's kind of one of those components that comes along with the physical experience and the G-forces and the danger, quite frankly. So, but the technical skills, the making your braking points and hitting your apexes and learning how to sort of save energy around a corner and make those beautiful arcs, that translates right across. And we know that a lot of our top competitors are also spending a lot of time in the sim to keep those skills sharp.
And we've got a couple of drivers throughout the field as well that are kart drivers, and their prize packages are a little bit different because they run the go-karts. First place, big prize package here. A set of go-kart tires, which tires on anything right now, super expensive. One chain and sprocket, ceramic chain lube, the KARTPLEX t-shirt, the hats, the gloves, 20% off a rebuild, and the dyno of any Roadmax Series engine. Obviously there's some terms and conditions with that, but a huge first place prize. Second place, you get the chain and the sprocket, the chain lube from Ceramic, the t-shirt, the hat, and a set of driving gloves and a BBR t-shirt, BBR hat. Same for third place there as well. And the kart driver up in the front, Kevin Foster, Yusu Foster, Xylus Martin in second, and Valentin Crusat coming home with the third place prize package there. So we've kind of gone through the season. We've awarded the points. The check's in the mail kind of at this point. Craig, we're getting ready to sit back. We're going to call some action at Phoenix here tonight. A little bit of a fun run. These drivers are excited. They know that the points are done. The prizes are handed out. Now we're coming out here to put on a heck of a show, and I think we're in for a treat here tonight.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and it's nice to see these guys just run for fun and go for it, and hopefully there's tons of action on the track.
Absolutely, and we've got everything linked up over on the Verdane TV Facebook page for KARTPLEX, kartplex.ca. Beautiful facility, definitely on my to-go list here at some point. It's like a 48-hour drive for me from southern New England, so it won't be this week, but definitely want to try and get out there, give these go-karts a shot, and for sure kind of feel the environment here. But I know, Craig, you wanted to get hooked up with a headset, try and listen in on some driver chat. We unfortunately don't like to put the driver chat out on the airwaves because every once in a while you get a little bit of a slip up, but we try to keep it as PG as we can here in the broadcast booth. But Greg, thank you so much for supporting sim racing. We love that we have someone out there being able to support our hobbies, and thanks for joining us up here in the booth, giving us a little bit of insight on KARTPLEX.
It's my pleasure, and I'm going to trip over and get onto that racer side because I missed out on some of that entertainment last week, and I'm going to make sure I take it. I appreciate you guys keeping it all PG on the broadcast side for our customers and our fans, and I'd like to also thank Chris Black Racing and BBR for helping us contribute to great prize packages for these guys, and I'm going to sign off now and go enjoy myself some racing.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Craig. And got to remember, anytime you want to check out the on-demand videos, check out the YouTube page. Do a quick search for Verdane TV. Every show we've ever done pops right up. So, Kyle, we're watching these drivers get on around the racetrack here, and it looked like it was a little bit of a wonky start, but, man, these drivers starting to get the feel of this. We heard Rafa jump in before the race, before the heat races kicked off here during that qualifying. These guys and gals are excited. There's a lot of beating and banging, a lot of sliding around this racetrack. Nobody's ever been to this track here before in the Miatas, so I really think we're going to have ourselves a heck of a show tonight.
Yeah, it's a really unique road course. It's one of the rovals that iRacing provides. This is on the infield of the older version of Phoenix Raceway before they did their repave and reconfiguration to the racetrack that we know now. It's a base content track, so everybody has it, but it's probably not a track that a lot of people are familiar with because it really doesn't get used a lot in the iRacing world, at least to my knowledge. So kind of changes things up a little bit for these drivers. as typical for any roval, it's very flat. But these Mazdas are really good handling on flat road courses like this. So these cars are very nimble, they're very light, they're easy to throw around and get to do whatever you want with them. So it's a pretty fun combination. It's one that I have definitely done before, not anytime recently, but for something unique, to do something a little unique and different, it's a lot of fun and really an entertaining challenge.
So we got less than 2 minutes to go here in the first heat race. I believe we're going to run one more heat race before we get in to the big show here this evening. Kind of waiting on to see how the cookie kind of crumbles there with the iRacing service and getting things kind of set up. Taking a look at the iRacing, or the SDK rather, timing and scoring tower there on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see the time next to each of those drivers the last time by. And you can see throughout the top 20, we're pretty close as far as lap times go. So having the fixed setups, a little bit of contact there. Having the fixed setups and having these cars very similar all the way throughout the field is a pretty cool way to kind of leave it into the driver's hand to see how they're going to figure out the race.
Yeah, 100%. In my opinion, putting drivers with the similar setups and is a little bit more entertaining. You don't have to worry so much about spending a lot of time prior to getting into your sim, running laps and figuring so many different things out. You just strap in for practice that night, turn a few laps, get the thing figured out, feeling comfortable for yourself, and then you go racing. And it really does come down more so to the driver talent overall than it does who can be the best setup builder. So, and as I mentioned, with these Mazdas, they're fairly easy to maneuver around the racetrack. It's just getting the seat time, finding your braking points, figuring out the proper line for the track that you're at, and just getting comfortable. So a move that I definitely think is the right one to make, and we will hopefully see some of that driver talent come out here. Is I would like to think that we're probably on the last lap here. I see the last time that Valentin went around the start-finish line, it was at 11 minutes and 17 seconds, which is less than leaves less than a minute left to go. So I'm thinking he's coming to take the checkered flag right here to complete this heat race. Valentin Crusat will get the victory here in this first heat race over Fern in the number 19 machine. Xylus Martin looks like he is going to come home in position number 3 on the podium. Now, it'll be kind of interesting to see how this all works out with this format. A bit of a unique one, as we had mentioned. Set up for 2 heat races initially, but it threw everybody into one, and I think they're going to run another one here. So I don't know if they're going to completely invert the results from this one, or if it'll kind of be a random draw, and then however things go in that second event will be how we set things up for tonight's 20-minute feature event. But we'll kind of wait and see for everything to finish up here and go from there once the grid is set. So looks like our final few cars are coming across the start-finish line to wrap this one up. So we'll have that answer here in just a moment and let you know how that is going to work. Looks like that is going to be a 15-minute run compared to this 12-minute one. And survey says, let's see here, actually it is going to be a heads-up start for this second little heat event. So straight up from what we just ran, where you finished is where you will start for this one. So Valentin Crusat will be on your pole position with Fern in second, Xylus Martin in position number 3. Then we have Hurt in position number 4, and Jackie will round out the top 5 for this 15-minute run. Pretty dominant performance there by Valentin. He was on the pole in that first race, drove away from the field and picked up the victory. So he is obviously going to be the one to watch, seeing that he is starting on point for this second one. And I would assume that since we are transferring the finish from the first one to the starting grid of this one, that will probably be the same. as we do for the main event. So 3 little mini races here. They slowly increase in length as they run. We have a 12-minute run, a 15-minute run, and then a 20-minute run. This 15-minute run is off and running. Let's see what Valentine can do from the point. Fresh track in front of him, looking back at the field as we run through the opening corner. This is a very, very tricky corner because you're having to turn and brake at the same time, and that is very difficult to do no matter what car that you are in. You typically try to get all of your braking done before you start to turn, but that's not really the case there in that opening wide first corner. You got to be able to figure that one out, and it looks like everybody did so pretty well as the field gets through these opening set of infield corners. Oh, we got one car sliding around and spinning just outside the top 5 there. Oh, and another car gets turned around as well, so 2 cars spinning. And now we have another 3. So we got cars scattered all over the place there in the middle of the infield portions. Of course, the benefit of road course racing is that you have minor incidents like that. The caution flag does not come out. You get it spun around, get it rolling once again, and continue on from where you left off. So it's good for the flow of the race. Obviously not good for those drivers that were involved in those incidents because you lose a lot of ground and you don't really have a great opportunity to make it all up. So especially with these short stint races, you got to be on your game. You can't allow mistakes to override your success, because they will do so very easily. So as the first lap comes around, looks like the top 4 cars still running in their starting positions. We got the Wizard up in position number 5 now, jumped up a spot from his initial starting position in car number 93. I dig that. 93 is my number, so I got to brag about that one a little bit. We got a 93 in the top 5, and this top 5 battle is actually really, really close. How about that? Top 5 cars pretty well tightly packed together here as they came across the line. He had the first 5 separated by 1.6 seconds. Kind of looks like it's tightened up a little bit there as we got a battle for position number 3. Kurt going to look to the inside of Xylus Martin here, not able to pull that pass off as they get back onto the oval. This is, well, I guess in this configuration's form, this is turns 3 and 4. Of course, we know this end of the racetrack as turns 1 and 2 on the current Phoenix Raceway layout, but this is the older, flatter, more worn out surface for the Phoenix Raceway. They'll come across the stripe to complete the second lap here in this second little heat race. Good battle for the race lead. Now you got the top 2 racing hard, and then positions 3 through 5 also racing on top of each other here in this third lap. So some good stuff. We saw Valentine kind of drive out and separate himself from the rest of the field in that first run, and now Fern is really giving him a good fight. Look at him on the inside now. He fought tough on the outside in that previous corner, got the preferred line, and he's going to make the pass on Valentine. And how about that? 3, 4, and 5 caught right back up as soon as those guys went side by side. So we now have 5 cars duking it out for the race lead. Nearly 3 wide there for second place as the 37 of Xylus Martin shoots underneath of Valentine to get that spot. 2 side-by-side battles coming back up onto the oval, the inside line, obviously the preference here. But if with this being a flat part of the racetrack, if you can keep your momentum up and maybe get some speed coming off the corner, you got an opportunity to really challenge. But the side-by-side battle is going to be really, really hard to fend on this first corner. And how about that? As mentioned, Valentine gets the run off the top, hangs on to position number 2, nearly contact there. Xylus Martin almost got a tap in the back from Kurt, almost got a little aggressive. Oh, and they're nearly doing it again. Great racing here inside the top 5. That's allowing Fern to kind of start to pull his way away here with this race lead. Big time aggressive over the curves. There is Xylus Martin. That's going to open up the inside for Kurt. Kurt's going to take advantage and slide on by. Oh, nearly some contact again with the Wizard almost getting in to Xylus there. Great stuff as we get through this second heat race. A lot more entertaining than what we saw in that first one. Some really fierce battling going on here, Paul.
Yeah, putting these kind of heat races together here, it's almost like we're doing a little bit of stage racing, as it were. Just being able to kind of break the full race up. Usually what we see is we see these drivers go out, qualify, find out where they're going to start, and then there's a 30-minute timed feature. We don't really worry about how many laps these guys are doing here in the KARTPLEX Winter iRacing Series. We wonder how long they're going to be on track. Look at how close that 19 car was to the exit of pit wall there, coming out of that first corner. Man, oh man, that 19 car is on rails. Crusat going to take the lead, though. 161 going to go around the outside. Here comes Curtin, the 10 car, going to try and follow him through. But these Miatas always putting on a heck of a show here. Very unique racetrack here with the Phoenix Legacy Road Course. And we're like 5 wide for the lead here, Kyle. 2 cars going around. Man, oh man, with no cautions. That's going to be tough for these guys to kind of move on back up. The Wizard and Kurt getting into it.
Not good for those 2 drivers, but the beneficiary of that was the 6th place runner, Alex Ho. He's going to move up to 4th, and he's not that far back from Silas Martin. If he can maybe get some corners down, you might be able to sniff a little bit of the draft here through the oval portion of this track. Not exactly sure. He's kind of a ways back, but we'll see what he can do. If he can get a little aggressive here on corner entry into turn number 1, maybe he has got an opportunity to fight for a podium spot here in this second heat race. And you mentioned that Valentin took the lead. Well, he just lost it. Fern is now back out in front. He's trying to take a defensive line down the front stretch to force Valentin to go to the outside. Ooh, he kicks it a little sideways there. I mentioned it at the start as they avoid a car spinning off to the outside of the track. That is a very, very challenging corner, Paul. I don't know if you've ever turned laps on this racetrack or not, but having to brake and turn at the same time, it's not ideal. You typically want to get your braking done before you turn, so having to do both of them at the same time is a real challenge for these guys.
And really the only saving grace that you've got in the driver in front of you, if you're not really used to the road course racing or kart racing or anything like that, they've at least got a brake light, which you don't usually see in the typical NASCAR stuff that you're used to seeing here on Verdane TV. So at the very least, you can see who's stopping in front of you. And we got a great onboard shot here from the passenger seat of the 19 car of Jason. You can see he just lost that lead to the 161 and has kind of dropped back just a little bit, but really starting to do a little bit of homework now to try and find out where he can get around the 161. And the whole reason I want to jump on board this cockpit shot here, the onboard shot with the 19, pay attention as we get down into turn 1. Look at how close this car is to the left-hand side.
Yeah, you really try to do your best to arc it down to the inside there on the apex of the corner. Maybe you kind of wash it out a little bit just so you can give yourself a little space to really arc it in once you get towards the end of the corner where the rumble strip is there on the inner portion. But it's such a long, wide, sweeping corner. It is, as I've mentioned already, it is without a doubt the most challenging portion of this racetrack. Everything else is kind of typical for a road course or a roval. A lot of flat, some of the high-speed corners and the kinks that you can take flat out. And right back here, getting back onto the oval portion, a nice tight hairpin, good braking and passing zone for these guys. But as we're starting to kind of see now, Paul Valentin doing what he did there in that first heat race, he's finally gotten some clean air, starting to check out on Fern back in position number 2. Going to leave him, Silas Martin, and Alex Ho to kind of fight it out amongst themselves. Could be a clean sweep of the night here. I don't know if we're going to see a heads-up start for the final event or not. We did for this one, but if that is the case, Valentin is definitely going to have a target on his back.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about this KARTPLEX iRacing Winter Series. We've been doing the standing starts all season long, and that's always a cool thing. You really got to pay attention to that starting pylon, and you can see these top 4 drivers pretty much hooked up still. A little bit of a stretch between first and second, but these second, third, and fourth place drivers right up in there. There you can see Alex Ho, biggest mover of this particular race so far, 15 spots from where they started. Kurt back in 5th, Richard in the 4 car. Up 7 spots in that 6th position. Audio C. It's one of those things that we're struggling with, the nicknames, but we'll figure it out for sure. But the 22 car running in 7th, Aiden Elms in the 33, up 9 spots. Look at all that chrome. That chrome's that extra 10 horsepower thereabouts. Jackie in the 528 Burger King ride. Back a little bit further on, back in 9th, the Wizard after dropping back in that 93 car, that incident. Back to 10th, T.O. Double D, Todd, the 007 ride, running 11th, Rafa in 12th. Racetrack Robbie, saw him pointed in the wrong direction a little bit earlier in 13th. Arthur Chan and Paulo going to round out the 15 drivers on the lead lap. Gray 1 lap down in the 25 car. Ken as well. There you see, good shot of the Ken machine in the 11. Ash off track, getting some work done on the 61. Warren and Sam parked down in the garage area for this one. So A little bit of a war of attrition that we're used to here in these 30-minute races, but one of the cool things that I'm seeing here, Kyle, with this kind of stage-style racing, all these drivers are going to be able to kind of reset one more time, find out where they're going to qualify by where they finished here, and they get another opportunity to win a race.
Yeah, for sure. That's the nice thing, having 3 opportunities added. If one of them goes sour, you have a chance to kind of put it in the back of your mind, maybe learn a lesson or two from it, and give yourself the opportunity to better the performance here in either this race or in the one upcoming. Now, of course, your final race is your last opportunity too, so you certainly don't want to end your night on a sour note. But hopefully, now that these guys have had almost a half hour of race time between these first 2 races, they've learned a lot. They've gotten a lot of laps, gotten some racing experience. They can figure out all the intricacies to the positives and the negatives and put together a solid program in the 20-minute finale. Taking a look at the time, 10 minutes and 12 seconds complete the last time Valentin came across the line. These guys are running lap times just over a minute, so I would assume that this is going to be the 2 to go mark. I don't remember exactly how many laps that we ran in that. See, I'm thinking it's a 12-minute one. This is a 15-minute race, so we're going to go a little bit longer. So definitely not 2 to go. Probably more so around 3 or 4 laps to go. We'll just kind of have to see how the timing works on it all. And even though we've gotten some space in between our top 4 here, they're still pretty tightly packed. They're only separated by 2.5 seconds the last time by. We'll see what the intervals change to once they hit the stripe here in a few seconds. But some really good stuff up at the front of this field.
Yeah, you can see a couple of lap times there for the last 4 or 5 laps for the top 2 drivers. You can see Jason there on lap 8, fastest lap of his race. Nope, just kidding. Crossed the stripe for lap number 10, just a little bit quicker. Minute and 6 seconds, 0.672. And you can see just how close the 19 and the 161 are on the stopwatch. 2 laps ago, lap number 8, 106.715 for both drivers between Crusat and Jason. So very evenly matched up towards the front. I got a feeling once we get into the 20-minute feature, we might have to start dealing with a little bit more lap traffic. That could throw a little bit of a monkey wrench into some of the deals here. But you can see just up towards the front, those top 3 times, Alex Ho in the 84 car now in that 3rd position. 0.2 of a second quicker than our guys up in the top. 106.67 is the lap time last time by. That's pretty cool to be able to have 2 separate drivers, 2 different cars, able to get around the same track at the exact same time.
I didn't even realize it until you mentioned it a few minutes ago, Paul, that Alex started all the way back in position number 19. That is incredible to start that far back on a road course and be up to 3rd place, only a second and a half, less than that now, 1.2 seconds behind the race leader. Running times comparable. I just don't know if he's going to have enough time to make it up there. Certainly there's a chance. He's got to get around the 19 to Fern here first. If he can do that, then get into some clean air, maybe he's got an opportunity to go nearly worst to first here in this second race. But if he's going to have that chance, he's got to get around the 19 machine as quickly as possible because time is starting to run out. And Fern is doing a really good job. He's running the perfect racing line, not creating any holes for Alex to really take advantage of. This is a great opportunity to pass. Maybe he throws it to the inside, tries a dive bomb move. No, he's going to be nice. He's going to try to work his way through the corner, maybe get a run coming back up on the oval here, sniff a little draft and see if he can contend for second place. I think this upcoming lap, if he's going to have anything for Valentin, he's got to make the pass right here.
And I was going to make mention, Kyle, towards the end of these races, we've seen many times where the leaders will make a little bit of a mistake towards the end. We saw the 161 get up into the outside fence there. Did a little bit of damage to the right-hand side of the car. Doesn't look like it slowed him down too much, though. You can see still about 0.7 of a second the gap, but those 2 second and third place drivers, they are coming in a hurry, and they're coming real quick. You can see the 84 all over the back bumper of that number 19 car in the second position, and you can see just trying to use up the back bumper on the left side, on the right side, right up the center, just trying to get around, trying to do a little outbreak and trying to fake him out there. You saw a little wiggle wobble trying to get into that corner by the 84, but not quite having enough to get around there. And with less than a minute to go, Kyle, when do you make that move?
I think he's going to have to try it right here. He's right in the back bumper. Maybe even spook him. Maybe not make the move, but try to make him think that he is and get him to make a mistake. Fern takes a really nice defensive line through there. Ho kind of went a little wide. He's going to lose a little ground, so not exactly executing that hairpin turn properly. Loses quite a few car lengths here, and as you said, they will be coming around to the white flag here. Less than a minute left in the race. Valentin will get the white flag. One more lap for him to go back-to-back. As these two battle, he starts to pull away. It's really up into his hands now. If he can keep that car going in the right direction, not make a mistake, he's going to go back-to-back with these first two races. But the battle to watch is this one for second place. Alex lost some ground there, trying to make it up here in the opening corner. Don't count him out yet. He's got a good shot here for the runner-up spot.
Action-packed here on a Tuesday night, right off the wings here of the Liberty Racing League, the final race of their regular season, taking a week off from points racing, doing the All-Star race next Tuesday night. Yours truly going to be back behind the wheel of the number 94 car. That's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun, and probably disastrous, because I haven't been behind the wheel in about 2 years, so that's going to be pretty interesting. But man, oh man, these drivers coming to the checkered flag here for this second race here of the evening, and we've kind of put it together, Kyle. These drivers doing a little bit of stage racing, so to speak, here with the road course, and a really good opportunity for some of these drivers like Todd. We saw come down pit road, TODD in the 007 car. Came down with some issues done for the this particular race down on pit road, but the 161 going to cross the stripe here and take that checkered flag for the second time so far this evening.
One checkered flag, two checkered flags. He's looking for the hat trick. Can he do it? We'll soon find out. Valentin Cressat gets the victory. A very tight finish for second place there. Oh my goodness, those guys are going around the oval and nearly got some of the guys still finishing up on the final lap. Fern is able to hold off Alex Ho for that runner-up position. They were separated by just under a tenth and a half, so a really close battle there. Silas Martin comfortably coming home in position number 4, and to complete the top 5, that will be Kurt in car number 10. So we saw a heads-up start between races 1 and 2. We'll see if that will be the same here for this feature event, the 20-lap finale, or the 20-minute finale, excuse me. I would assume that will be the case, but we'll just wait and see for sure, and we'll rack them up. And well, as mentioned, that is. So we will go heads up once again. Where you finished in this second race will start you for your third final opportunity, Paul. An extra 5 minutes, 20 minutes to conclude this night. Who you taking? I want to know. Who you got for this third one? Is Valentin going to sweep the night, or are we going to find somebody different in victory lane?
It's tough to tell. It really is, especially with these drivers in this KARTPLEX iRacing Winter Series. You can see that starting grid lined up on your screen. Valentin and Jason going to take over that where they left off on that front row. So that's going to be fun to watch them. I think I'm going to pull for that 84 car there, starting in the third position. Alex Ho, very, very quick, able to drive up through the field as they've done many, many times throughout the season here on Tuesday night. So I think I'm going to take maybe a cool crisp $5 bill and put it on. I'm going to bet on, what color is that? There's some yellow, green, red. I'm going to put it on the anime car.
I think that's a great pick. As we mentioned, he went 19th to 3rd in that previous race. So a big mover on that one. I'm going to be the homer here. I mentioned it earlier. I'm taking the Wizard, car number 93. Going to go 10th to 1st here in this final 20 minutes. He made a mistake in that second race, got spun around. I think he cleans it up here. And we are rocking and rolling for race number 3. Off and running. Can they get themselves through this opening corner nice and clean? Good side-by-side battle right off the bat. Alex Ho couldn't get around Jason there for position number 2. He does so right off the start, and he brings Silas Martin with him. Oh, and now the 19 goes around. He had some help there, so that is a big bummer for him. Not going to find the same success. Oh, and Alex Ho goes around. He gets too much curve on that left-handed kink, knocks the car sideways, and around he goes. The opening lap drama continues in this one, race number 3. It's the most important lap of the race. You got to get off to a clean start, and unfortunately, we're seeing some of our top contenders failing to do so.
20 minutes is a long time, but it's a short time on the racetrack, especially if you got to get out there and chase down some of these guys that are making it look easy. The 161 pulling off to almost 2 seconds of a lead now over my pick, Silas Martin in the 37 car, running in second. Alex Ho dropping back down to 10th, so we're going to change it on the fly here. Call it in the ring, call it on the fly. Is that what we do? Richard going to take over the 3rd spot there in 4th. Audio C in the 22 car running 4th. Arthur Chan up to the 5th position. Kurt F10, Gray, the Wizard, Ken, and Alex Ho running out the top 10.
Pretty good battle sparking up here for position number 4. Audio C barely hanging on and over Arthur Chan. Oh, and now Chan's going to get around it. It makes the move for that spot, and that's going to open the door for Kurt to get on by Audiosi as well. So Kurt dropped a couple spots there off the start, making his way back up through, taking one away from Audiosi, so put him at -2. Ooh, a bit of a mistake behind him. Gray gets a little sideways there going through that double apex right-hand corner. Gathers it back up, but that's going to allow Alex Ho to close on in here and potentially battle as they get onto the oval. And right behind Alex Ho is Paulo. So we got 3 cars covering a small little portion of the track here. Going to fight it out for position here once they get up to speed on the oval.
And Kyle, I got to tell you, and I have been talking off the air here for the past couple of days. Just got a 55-inch TV screen hooked up here at the Dane TV HQ, using it for the broadcast here for the first time here tonight. So we're up to 4 monitors, and it's still not enough coverage for this KARTPLEX series. These guys and gals all over the racetrack putting on a heck of a show. It's really tough to follow all of the battles all at once, but we're doing the best we can. We're doing everything we can to try and keep up, man. Valentin is driving off into the sunset, 1.8 seconds lead over Xylus Martin. Richard in 4th, Arthur Chan and Kurt F. Chen at the top 5, and it looks like we've got an opportunity to catch our breath, so want to thank everybody for tuning in, letting us into your homes here on a Tuesday night. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on Twitch. Doing a little bit of a fun run here this evening. Just wrapped up the KARTPLEX.ca iRacing Winter Series Championship last week. Handed out some awesome prize packs to some sim racers as well as some kart racers, and a really good opportunity here, Kyle, to kind of get some of these sim racers in behind the wheel of an actual race car, a go-kart or a machine or anything like that. And for somebody that might not have ever stepped inside of a race car, that's a big thing, because really, the sim racing is fun. You get to be competitive and you get to be creative with all the different paint schemes and such, but being able to really get that button seat feel, to really feel what's going on between you and the car and the track and everybody else around you, is an awesome feeling. And it's really cool to kind of be able to see 2 different groups, or the same group, kind of mashing together and really bringing kind of the real racing and sim racing communities together.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen that so many times over the years with iRacing, doing more and more connection between the sim world and the real world. It's just so tough. It's very, very difficult to get involved in real world motorsports, because if you have nothing, if you're one of these iRacers, that this is how you kind of first get your interest into motorsports, there's a lot of expense getting into racing. Even if you're talking like a cheap 4-cylinder at your local dirt track, the car is going to cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. You got to have something to haul it to the racetrack. So there's a truck and trailer. You have all the safety equipment, which can run you a few $1,000s, because you don't want to cheap out on that. It's really, really expensive to get involved in real-world motorsports. And even now, so as we see technology continue to improve and advance, sim racing isn't necessarily a cheap expense either to start out with. You have to have a good computer to be able to run pretty competitively. Depending on what kind of hardware you're running with, steering wheel and headset and all that stuff, you can pretty much make anything work as long as you're knowledgeable with it. But really, the heart and soul of being successful with the sim racing is the computer component. But it is still a lot easier to get involved with than it is with real racing, because that's really your only major expense, is the initial expense. Once you have all of the equipment, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about junking a race car and hitting the wall. You fix it with the escape button, not with your checking account. So it's really cool to see more opportunities for sim racers getting the chance to race for real in real life. And I can tell you, Paul, as somebody that's gone from the sim world to the real world, there are a lot of things that correlate between the two of them. No, maybe you can't go to your local short track on iRacing and turn laps in the street stock or the 4-banger that you're going to be running in real life. But there's a lot of fundamentals that you can take from iRacing and bring them to the real track to help speed up that curve of learning from real world racing.
And for someone like me who's really more comfortable kind of behind the scenes in the gray area or something like that, the driver's seat behind the steering wheel, that's not the only spot here in the iRacing world that you can kind of fulfill. You can get in. We're doing commentary. We're doing broadcasting. It's kind of cool to be able to kind of flaunt a little bit of skill and kind of exercise your craft just a little bit. It's a great opportunity for spotters to get in. There's always drivers out in open races, league races that are looking for someone to come in and spot, and there's no better way to keep yourself sharp through the winter series. You can see the 10 getting up into the wall, as is the 4 of Richard. Kind of monkey see, monkey do there. No harm, no foul. They continue on into the right direction. But just really being able, all different aspects of being at the racetrack. There's race officials, all sorts of different eyes on track, different opportunities to really kind of hone your craft. And Kyle, you and I have been doing this for going on 3 years now. Hard to believe, next month. And it's really cool. It's really cool to be able to take the sim racing aspect, throw it in against the real world, see what sticks, see what doesn't sticks. And oh, by the way, the camaraderie, the community, the friendships that you make along the way. Obviously, just like at the real racetrack, you're going to make your enemies. You're going to make the guys and gals that, maybe they race you a little bit harder than everybody else. But you're going to make some awesome friends along the way as well. And it's one of the best things that you can do in the sim racing world, as well as the real racing world, right? Support yourself with good people, fast people, and people that really want to see you succeed. And that's one of the big parts of the sim racing community. It's really why I'm so proud to be a part of the sim racing community. I have been for better than 2 decades here at this point, and seen a lot of names come and go, but the same stuff stays the same. We're still hard racing here. 12 and a half minutes left to go in this one, and you can see Valentin's kind of cruising off into the sunset once again. Might be getting that trifecta you were calling for a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to see how fast he has been throughout the night here. Of course, he definitely had the advantage of clean air, but as we saw in that second race, he really had to fight it out with some of those other top competitors and lost the lead at one point. So he hasn't had a stroll in the park throughout this entire night. He's really had to work for it, and he's earned the opportunity to start on the front row for each of these races. I've been watching this battle going on here for position number 2 between Silas Martin and Kurt. They just had a position swap going into turn number 1 there. Really good stuff between these guys. These were 2 of the top 5 that we saw racing hard in that second event, and they are picking up right where they left off. I think Kurt kind of made a mistake there in the opening portions of this race. Had to make up a few spots, but he has done so very nicely, put himself into position number 2. And don't look too far now. Richard in position number 4 is not all that far back. If he could string some corners together, maybe find a way to get a little faster than those 2 in front of him, or if they can start to battle a little more, he's going to put his name in that mix. And Arthur Chan not too far back either. So we could have the potential for some late race dramatics here inside the top 5. We'll see how things play out. Your initial pick, I'm going to hold you to that, Alex Ho. He's worked his way back up to 6th after an early race spin. So that's a pretty impressive recovery for him. He's still got a shot at the top 5 too.
Yeah, you can see great recovery for the 84 car. We've seen Alex Ho very quick all season long here in these Miatas, and it's one of those things where you really get to kind of transfer it over to the real racetrack as well, the go-kart track, wherever you may try and find yourself doing a little competitive racing. And you can see just really able to manhandle that car, just really getting in there hard on the brakes, hard on the throttle. You can see how much that Miata is sliding around the corners. That 84 car is quick. My pick, getting close to the top 5.
Arthur Chan, position number 5. He's got that last top 5 spot. I think he was able to close in on Richard just a little bit. The gap looks a little shorter than what it was the last time they came around to the oval. Silas Martin not able to really do much with Kurt in the last lap or so. If we check back a couple positions, look like we got a little bit of the battle actually just switched itself. I was going to say Audiosi only had a 7/10 of a second advantage over Paulo for position number 7. Paulo has since gone around and has pulled away to just about half a second there over Audiosi. So still pretty tight there between those 2. Really wide arc there in turn number 1. So Paulo might have given up just a little bit of time to the 22 machine behind him. This is the benefit of road course racing, Paul. You kind of mentioned it earlier. With a track as wide as this one, I mean, you think of a 1.5-mile racetrack, and maybe if you're an oval racing fan, you think of like a NASCAR intermediate. Doesn't really sound all that big, all that impressive. But on a road course, this one specifically being a 13-turn road course that does have some oval elements into it, the benefit is that if you can get the cars spread out, you can find battles all over the place. Now, of course, it could work against you as well if you get the cars spread out too far and there's not a lot to focus on. But from what we've seen so far here tonight, that has not been the case. There have been a lot of battles all throughout the racetrack, all throughout the field. It's been a fun one to watch.
For sure, you can see the SDK Gaming track map there on the right-hand side of your screen. How about this battle for second? Oh, a little off track there for the leader. That was Kurt F10, I believe, in the 10 car. Just overshot turn 1 in a great big way. Going to drop back a couple positions there. You can see the 50 getting on by Arthur Chan, sliding into the 4th position. And it's one of those incidents, Kyle, you make a little bit of a mistake like that, it almost takes you about a half a lap, 3/4 of a lap to regain your composure, get back into that momentum. So the 10 car really trying to make it up towards the front. A little quick mistake, though, from the 10 car.
You're absolutely right, Paul, especially if you do it in one of those more technical areas of the racetrack, like at the head of this road course. You mess up one corner, it puts you offline for the next, and then you get through that corner offline, and it screws you up for the following. So it can be very difficult to regain your composure. Rhythm is so important when it comes to road course racing. You have to develop a rhythm, have to develop a pattern of hitting the corners and getting through things smoothly, because as you see, you make that one mistake and it's going to set you off for a number of corners after that. It's not like an oval where I got a little loose off turn 2, kind of slowed me down going down the back stretch, but I was able to regroup by turns 3 and I was fine through turn 4. It's not the case with road course racing. There's so much more precision to it, and momentum is very, very important.
And you can see momentum starting to build once again in behind the steering wheel of that number 10 car, all over the back bumper of Arthur Chan and that number 50, trying to get back that position, and just all over the back bumper of the 50. Alex Ho in the 84 closing the gap there as well. We made mention Paulo in the 77 having a solid run up in his 7th. And a name we haven't mentioned too many times here this evening, Aiden Nelms having a solid run in 8th in that number 33 car. You can see it right on the doors there, folks. Birds aren't real.
You gotta love the fun that these guys have with the paint schemes every now and then, having showing a little character amongst themselves, and just bringing more entertainment, more positivity to the sim racing stuff. Man, I got to go back to this battle with Kurt and Arthur Chan. They are side by side coming across the start finish line. Kurt's going to drive it in deep, kind of walk out just a little bit. Good move, and that opens the window for Alex Ho. So Arthur Chan could be -2 here on lap number 13, nearly making contact, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Alex is going to slide on through, take that position away, so he's back up in the top 5. Arthur Chan is outside, and Alex has an opportunity for a podium still, as he's got 2 cars right in front of him.
And one of the things I'll never understand about these Miatas, the longer we race, the harder these cars are able to get around this racetrack. And you can see we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. 5.5 minutes left to go here at Phoenix Raceway. And these guys are skating all over the place. Hard racing, hard braking, making sure that they're getting everything that they possibly can out of these Miatas. You can see Kurt trying to take another position, getting on down to the inside of the 4-car of Richard, going to take that podium spot for now. I don't think he's done. I think he's going to keep on moving and set his sights on Martin in the 2nd spot.
And that's all fuel load, Paul. You continue to run laps and burn the fuel off. The car gets lighter. And these are light cars as is, as we mentioned. As you can see, these cars don't have roofs. The only thing that's up there are just roll bars. So these are very light cars. As you start to burn the fuel off, the rear end gets a lot lighter. It's a little more difficult to put the power down coming off the corner.
Ooh, contact.
A little bump there. The bump and run. The short track bump and run on Alex Ho. The 4 Machine of Richard moves him out of the way. That's a benefit for Arthur Chan as well. Now those 2 guys are going to battle up. How about that, Paul? We saw a little bump and run on a Miata race.
And then we're going to see it again. Chance says, hey, that looked like it worked pretty well. The 50 car up into the back of Richard, gave him a little tap, tap, tap. Not quite enough to upset the car. And you can see, put a little bit of distance in between there. But that's one of the cool things about these Miatas here on a Tuesday night. These KARTPLEX guys and gals are really putting on a heck of a show here for us on Tuesday nights, showing that, Mazdas, they might be small, they might be little, but they could take a whole heck of a beating, and really being able to do some clean beating and banging, which is really cool to see, really fun to see, and it's entertaining as heck for the fans watching at home. And again, thank you so much for tuning into Vidane TV's coverage of the KARTPLEX iRacing Winter Series. Kind of closing things off, closed the season off last week, and having ourselves a little bit of a fun run here tonight at Phoenix. And you can see it's been a whole heck of a lot of fun throughout the night. And that turn one, Kyle, they've been every which line down through there, and I think every single one of them has worked at one point or another throughout this race.
Yeah, well, we've seen guys kind of charge the corner, swing out wide, take a little more reserved approach and try to hug that pit wall. It's been a lot of fun to watch and see which ones work or not. Arthur Chan, he got a little aggressive and he's going to take a slide through the infield. That is going to do it for him on that battle. Man, tough break for him. Now he's going to get sent back with some other cars and have to fight there for position. That's good for Alex Ho. He gets a freebie and now has a clearer path to get up to Richard to contend for position number 4 with just a few minutes remaining. I don't think Alex is going to have much of an opportunity for a podium unless Kurt makes a mistake there. But we'll have to see if he can reel down Richard and send that number 4 car back to position number 5. It has still been Valentin Cressat all up front here in this third race. He has pulled a 5.5 second gap. I know we haven't talked a lot about him much because he is kind of putting a whooping on these guys. Been a lot of good racing throughout the top 10. But you definitely have to give credit where it has due. He has clearly been the best car of the night. Winning the first 2 races, having the benefit of the pole position for the third, and he has taken full advantage of it. Not many mistakes either. I'm looking through his lap times here, and he's got a couple 107s, but for the most part, he's running right in the 106 range, mid to high 106 range. Been very consistent, very smooth, and that is exactly what you need to do if you're going to be successful on a road course.
And you can see as we kind of go through the field here with less than 3 minutes, getting closer to 2 minutes to go here, the closest racing battles actually back here, 11th, 12th, and 13th. These drivers doing everything they can to try and get a little bit closer to that top 10. We made mention that 161 has set sails, blasting that thing off like it's a Falcon 9 rocket, heading off into Mars with 2 minutes left to go in this one. 5.3 seconds a gap back to Xylus Martin in the 37 car, having a solid run in that Miata. Kurt F10 in third, Richard and Alex Ho the top 5, and I don't think Alex Ho's done. He is all over the back bumper of Richard, getting ready to get there, and you can see, you've seen it all night long, that 84 car, very, very aggressive, and got a little bit of a shunt last couple laps ago, so that's always going to be in the back of your driver's mind, and we'll see what happens here with 1:30.
Well, Paul, looking right in front of him, you mentioned it there in that previous race. You were wondering about lap traffic, and they are going to see it. They got to find their way around the 17th place running Ash as they start to approach the oval once again. We'll see how kind Ash plays to them, if Ash is going to yield and let them go, or if he's going to try to continue on. And Alex is getting aggressive on that back bumper. He tried shoving Richard through that hairpin corner. He is right there trying to bump draft on the oval. This is going to be a fun one to watch all the way down to the final lap, which we may be coming up on. I think we did. Yeah, I think this is going to be the last lap. 58 seconds left to go when Valentin hit the line. So I'm assuming this is going to be a final lap. White flag coming around here. Alex Ho shoving Richard into corner number 1, immediately going to the inside, but there's the lap over there. Oh, they make door contact. Alex slides. He gathers it back up. Richard's hanging on. Oh, and Alex gets him, and he turns around. He spins him around, hits him in the left front, gets him going again, but not without taking his spot first.
Yeah, Richard definitely didn't like the way that pass went down. Let him know, gave him a quick little shot, spun him around, got it sorted out, but Alex Ho able to drive away and take that spot. A couple of drivers finding some calamity down there. That's Todd in the 007 car getting things sorted back out. But man, oh man, out front, going to get ready to, I believe, cross the start-finish line as we get into NASCAR 3 and 4 after this hairpin. This 161 car, bad fast as always, won the first 2 races, getting ready for that hat trick, getting ready to come home with the victory here.
Throw him out on the front stretch, folks. Valentin Cressat will take the checkered flag and complete the sweep of the night. The hat trick is in his pocket. 3 for 3, grabs all of them. The lone man showing the success here tonight. A great job by that 161 crew. He will get the victory. Xylus Martin finishing in position number 2. Chopped off a little bit of time there in the closing laps, but obviously not enough to dethrone Valentin. He will finish in second. Kurt F10 will finish third. completing the podium. How about TODD there, Paul? We didn't talk much about him in that one, but he surprised us. He comes from 17th place to finish in 4th here in this third one, and our buddy Alex Ho will wrap up the top 5.
Yeah, great racing all the way through. Valentin trying to figure out the burnouts. Didn't look like that worked out according to plan, but I guess that doesn't much matter when you get the trophy at the end of it. We'll take a look here at the official starting grid. We got somebody down there doing burnouts, celebrating end of a successful season here, and a successful season it has definitely been. These guys put on a heck of a show all season long here. Really looking forward to getting back out to the real racing world, but looking forward to next winter here as well, as we do have some dates penciled in here for the KARTPLEX folks. And that's going to bring us up to the Turn 4 podcast post-race show. Going to try and talk to these top 3 drivers here, get a little bit of insight from behind the wheel, and find out where everybody's going to end up going here now that the real racing season is real close. But Kyle, first race in the booth here for this KARTPLEX group. Man, what did you think?
It was some good stuff. Like I mentioned, there was a lot of battles throughout the field. Some good stuff. We saw a little aggression. Nothing wrong with that, at least not in my mind. Kept things interesting. And the other thing that I really enjoyed, the big movers. We talked about Alex Ho going 19th to 3rd there in that second feature race. And then here in the third one, where was it here? Well, I think things may have changed, but we initially saw. Yeah, I think there must have been some penalty there with Todd. He ended up getting booted back to 16th. So scratch that. But I mean, still, as you look at throughout the top 10, you had a 12th to 5 run, and 11th to 6, and the 16th to 7. So clearly, these guys were able to make some passes throughout the night. Had some good racing throughout the field. It was a fun one to watch all night long.
Absolutely, and getting a little pre-race instruction from the boss man, Craig. We heard him up here in the booth before the green flag. Jumped in the chat for all the drivers. Said, "Hey gang, put on a show for us. Carnage makes for good TV," and indeed it did. Lots of beating and banging throughout this one. And Kyle, I believe you're down there with our Victor down there in Victory Lane with the 161 car.
That I am, the man that steals all the glory tonight. Valentin, congratulations. 3 wins. You were the dominator, but you had some different variables throughout the races. Race number 1 and 3, kind of similar, kind of out front, kind of kept it at your own pace. But that second race, you really had to battle throughout the traffic. You lost the lead at one point, had to get it back. Talk about the differences between all 3 races tonight.
The first race was fairly easy because some things out.
Favorite corners that you felt like you really excelled at?
I think corner 1 was really challenging, and I was really inconsistent at it. Probably not the last corner, but the one before might be one where I was kind of good at it. But yeah, it was really slidey the whole way, and I somehow avoided slowdowns, so.
Well, we know that things are winding down here for you guys with the iRacing side. What's next for you? Do you have any fun, entertaining plans for the springtime once the weather starts to finally warm up?
I'll try to do karting as much as I can.
Nothing wrong with that at all. A clean sweep of the night, getting the victory in all 3 feature events. Valentin, who would you like to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank all the competitors. That was a pretty clean race. And yeah.
Giving it out to his fellow competitors. It was a lot of clean racing. Saw some sketchiness at the start of the races, but hey, that's what makes it fun. You get everybody packed up, a nimble race car like the Mazda, a track with low grip like this old Phoenix surface, and it's going to provide a lot of excitement. Valentin Crossac sweeping the night, all 3 feature events in very impressive fashion. Paul, I'll send it back to you. I see we got a lot of guests here in the booth now, so whichever way you want to go from here.
Yeah, lots of drivers joining us here in the broadcast booth. Always cool to see at the end of a season here. Valentin taking P3 among the kart drivers last week in the final points, getting that prize package from the kart drivers, getting a little bit of swag as well. And, well, the P2 finisher tonight finished P2 among the kart drivers in the points as well. Xylis Martin, the 37 car. Solid run here tonight at Phoenix. Great entertaining race. And a little bit different setup here tonight. Did you have a different plan coming into this one, Xylis?
I was just trying to stay alive. I wasn't very fast tonight, and I was super squirrely. I kept hitting the walls and other people, so I was just happy I finished, to be honest.
And finished strong here, coming home in second. Kind of a long stretch to try and catch that 161 car, but definitely a great battle within the top 3 and the top 5 all night long. And we heard Kyle say, we're kind of wrapping up the iRacing deal. We're gonna see. We see you got the second place kart driver package. We're gonna see you at the kart track in the next short time.
Yeah, I got lots of karting this season. We're doing like multiple different series. I think we're scheduled for like over 25 races, so it's gonna be a good season.
Absolutely, sounds like a good season indeed, and that's always cool. Being able to kind of keep the brain piece smart and sharp on the iRacing service, jump it back in, and kind of take what you learned in to those go karts. And want to give you an opportunity here, Xylus, getting things wrapped up for the iRacing Winter Series. Who gets it done for the virtual and the real 37 car? Who gets you to and from the racetrack?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my main sponsor, RaceLab VI, for supplying me karts this season and being under their tent. It's super good. We just raced last weekend and team did well. And then you guys for announcing. It's pretty awesome. And then all the competitors, like always a good race with Valentin and everyone. So, yeah, and Rafa for just organizing the league.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun here on Tuesday nights, and really looking forward to Season 2 here next winter. Hopefully even before then. But in any sense, phenomenal run here tonight, making it happen, coming home with a P2 finish. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And another driver finishing on the podium here, Kyle. Curtis Fung, Kurt F10, finishes P3 among sim racers in points, and, well, he finishes third here tonight. You've caught up with him.
Yeah, a third place here in the finale. Not only that, but a string of consistency tonight for you, Kurt. A fourth place in the opening race, a fifth place in race 2, and then you cap it off with the bottom step of the podium in race number 3. What was the key to your consistency tonight?
I wouldn't say too consistent. I probably got spun out in all 3 heats or all races there. Just pushing, trying to get back to that podium position, and turned out all right.
We saw you right around the center of a lot of some really, really good battles. What was your perspective through that? It certainly put us on our toes and gave us a lot of fun stuff to watch. What was it like from the driver's seat?
Yeah, always trying to drive clean and as close as possible. This track definitely had some interesting lines involved with turn 1 there. But yeah, it is cool. Felt like a karting track, if anything.
So we see that you are marked up as one of the sim racers amongst the group. So now that this season is over, any good, fun, entertaining plans for you as we get ready to roll into March and hopefully start to get into some of the warmer weather months?
Yeah, hopefully do one track day in the summer, and hopefully hit the karting tracks at least a couple times.
Very cool to hear. Anybody that you would like to thank, the microphone's yours. You got that opportunity now.
Yeah, main sponsor, Axon Driver Solutions, axonsim.com. Provide great racing equipment, D-Box and Moza wheel and pedals. And teammates, organizers, and the commentary and the broadcast here.
That is your third place finisher here tonight. Kurt F10 in the 20-minute main event. Paul, you're probably looking forward to this one. The man that you picked for race number 3, Alex Ho, I'll send it down to you. Ran us into some early race trouble there, but recovered for a very solid fourth place finish.
100%, and showing it just why Alex was able to come home with the points lead in the sim racing crowd, getting that awesome prize pack. One of the cool things with me, Alex, is you're going to be able to kind of take this sim racing experience, bring it over to the kart track for, is that going to be the first time you'll be behind any kind of go-kart, race car, or anything like that?
It's been quite a few years I've been behind a professional go-kart, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty excited to head up there.
Absolutely, and one of the questions, I'm sure it's on Kyle's mind as well as all the viewers at home. When you get behind that race car, that go-kart, are we going to see that same aggression that we see with these Miatas? It is an absolute blast to watch you get around this racetrack.
Yeah, might probably dial it down a little bit just to get used to the kart first, but yeah, in the end, I'll probably just dial it up a little bit.
Absolutely, and showing the consistency is definitely key here with these timed races here on a Tuesday night. Getting a little bit of swag as well for finishing in the lead here with the sim racing group as well. But got to give you an opportunity. We're all set with the iRacing season, getting ready to get into the karting season. Who makes it happen for you? Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
I'd like to thank Axon Driving Solutions. They provide me a great rig to race on. Yeah, shout out to them. So
100%. Finishing in at the top of the points, getting a little t-shirt swag, and being able to jump in at the go-karts as well. So that's a whole lot of fun. And the next driver able to do the very same thing. A couple of arrive and drive sessions as well as all that swag. It's going to be Jackie finishing second in the sim racing group as well. And I don't think we've talked to Jackie all season long. And great to have you on board here. The 528 car. See you racing here each and every Tuesday night. Great race here tonight. Not quite the finish we were looking for, but definitely up in the top 10 throughout the night.
Yeah, thank you, Paul and Kyle. Yeah, the last race. I mean, even though I was at the back end, but it was a really good battle between me, the Wizard, and Racetrack Robbie. The three of us were like bumper to bumper at the back end. I mean, it was actually more fun at the back for some reason. Throughout the season, I mean, it just stayed safe for most of the time, stay out of accidents, and yeah.
Yeah, just being able to really kind of take some of that aggression out on the racetrack. And we made mention earlier on in the show, these Miatas can really take a beating as long as it's kind of a controlled beating, if there is such a thing. But phenomenal racing all the way throughout the field. And the question on everybody's mind, have you been behind the wheel of a go-kart, real car, anything like that? Or is this go-kart opportunity with the arrive and drive, is that going to be a first for you?
It's gonna be a first mostly because all the local ones aren't very fast. So I mean, being able to hop on a real go-kart would be a very good experience for me.
Absolutely, and coming from a guy that's gone from the sim racing deal to be able to jump into a street stock a few years back at Stafford Speedway, it's an absolute dream. It really is. The sim racing is fun. There's a lot you can learn from it, but being able to get that butt in seat feel is a big thing. And very happy for you. Looking forward to seeing some GoPro footage for that first time out.
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. And Rafa, the big boss man, putting things on here for the KARTPLEX iRacing Winter Series. We had Craig on at the top of the show. We talked about all these awesome prize packs that the sponsors were able to kind of put together and putting a cap here on the iRacing season. A successful run, I think.
Oh, I think it was fantastic. I really like to thank Craig and the CarPlex team for helping us build this community. I mean, this community actually was started in the racetrack, and then we extrapolated into the sim racing community, which I think has been a great integration, lots of learning. So, I mean, the goal is really trying to bring more people to the track and also more people to the sim racing. So, I think we accomplished that. My hope is next year we're going to get even more people joining. I mean, obviously, we'll do some iRacing during the summer, but most will be focusing on the karting. But certainly, we'll keep those friendships. And whenever people come here to KARTPLEX to, claim their prizes, we'll try to get most of the sim racers and local drivers to come and race in the same day. Should be a blast.
Absolutely. Kyle and I made mention of that about halfway through the show. Camaraderie in the sim racing and the real racing community. Absolutely something to really strive for. And I think you guys have got that down pat in both these communities with the sim racers and the kart racers kind of mashing together and really helping each other out, trying different styles, trying different racing maneuvers, as we've called them in the past here on iRacing. So very, very cool situation that we've got. And we're getting ready to go racing here. It's starting to warm up just a little bit.
Yeah, and I would really like to thank you and Kyle for jumping in and doing all the extra race today. And hopefully we'll be in touch soon so we can arrange for the next season. I think it would be fantastic. Everyone really enjoyed the commentary. Talk to people that, sometimes they can't race, but they're still watching. So everyone loved it.
And that's why we do it here at Vidane TV, to entertain the masses. Got some cool stuff coming up here the rest of the week, tomorrow night. Episode number 93. How about that, Kyle? Episode number 93 of Tim's Corner Motorsports, hosted by yours truly, as well as Dylan Langile. Tim Terry has the evening off. I believe he is down in North Carolina doing some legend car stuff, potentially. allegedly. We'll see where he's at. But myself and Dylan are going to talk to some drivers from Maritime Canada tomorrow night. The RBR Maritime Group kicking things off for race number 7 tomorrow night. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. And then Thursday night, the New England, Pennsylvania Shift Marketing and Design Grand National Series returning to the airwaves on Thursday night. Lots of racing action coming up on Verdane TV. Be sure to give us a like, to subscribe, to follow, all that good stuff. And we will let you know the next time we go live. That's going to do it here for us for tonight. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Kyle Young, Dr. Race Chaser himself in the booth here tonight. Go check Kyle out on Facebook. Dr. Race Chaser. 27 races in, Kyle?
27, baby.
27 races in.
February 21st. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, 27 100ths of the goal of 100 races. Easy math there. But great insight from one of the most brilliant racing minds I think I've ever had the pleasure to work with. Kyle Young, Dr. Race Chaser, over on Twitter, on Facebook. Give him a like, a subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff. We'll catch you on the next time here at Verdane TV, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.